In this video, we're going to take a look at exam revision for factorising trickier quadratics. So what we're going to do here is just take a look at some exam style questions for factorising trickier quadratics. As always, pause the video, have a look at the questions as they appear, and then double check that your solution matches what we get on the screen. That's everything that we need here to get started, so let's begin with question 1 here. So we're asked to factorise 2x squared plus 9x plus 10. So to begin with, let me just write down this quadratic here. We've got 2x squared plus 9x plus 10. So when we factorise this quadratic here, we just get a product of brackets. We'll get double brackets like this. And because we've got 2x squared here, it means we'll have a 2x at the front of one of these brackets like so, and an x at the front of the other bracket like that. So now we need to think about the factor of the 10 here, because we need two numbers that will times together to give me 10. So a couple of different choices here that we can have. We could have 2 and 5. We could have 2 and 5. We could also have 1 and 10. Okay. So we start with 2 and 5 to begin with. Well, because we're timesing here by 2x in this bracket, then one of the numbers will double here. So we start with a 2 and double that. So 2 times 2 is 4. This 5 here, we're timesing that by the coefficient of this x here, so that's 1. So that won't change. So here we're going to get 4 and 5, because the 5 doesn't change. So now, if we add these numbers here together, we would get this middle number here, this 9. Well, we do. 4 plus 5 is 9. Perfect. So we found the correct pair there. We'll give those a tick. So now all we need to do here is just be slightly careful with the order in which we choose these factors here for the brackets. So what number doubled here? Well, the 2 doubled. 2 times 2 is 4. So the 2 now goes in this bracket here, the other bracket. We get x plus 2. And in this bracket here, then we get the remaining factor of 5. Okay. And there we have it. So that's the solution there to question 1. Taking a look now at question 2 here, where we're asked to factorise 5x squared plus 24x minus 5. So to begin with here, let's just write down this quadratic. We've got 5x squared plus 24x, and then minus 5. So again, when we factorise this here, we just get double brackets, or products of brackets like this. Now, in this case, this is 5x squared. That means we'll have a 5x at the front of one of these brackets here, and an x at the front of the other bracket, like so. So now, we need to think about the factors here of minus 5. So, two numbers here that will times can be minus 5. So we've got two choices here. So I could have minus 5 and 1, or 1 and minus 5. Let's do it that way. So 1 and minus 5. Then we could also have here the other way around. So we could have minus 1 and 5. Okay. Let's start here with 1 and minus 5. So in this case here, the numbers won't double. They'll actually be times by 5 because it's 5x here. So remember, we always times it by this coefficient here. So let's start with the 1 then. If we times that by 5, that would give me 5. Then for the minus 5 here, well, we don't do anything with that because we're timing it by 1x, so that would just remain as it is. We get 5 and minus 5 there. If we add these together here now, 5 plus minus 5, well, that's just 0. And we need 24, so it's not going to be these two here. So let's try now with timesing this minus 5 here by 5. So the 1 will stay as it is. We get 1 there. And then for the 5 here, sorry, the minus 5, we times that by 5. That would give me minus 25 there. So now, if we add these numbers together here, 1 plus minus 25, that's the same as 1 minus 25, and that would give me minus 24 there. Okay, so we don't get the positive 24 there, we get minus 24. So in that case, then it won't be this pair here, it means it won't be these factors here. Okay, so moving on to the next factor pair here. We've got minus 1 and 5. So again, we're going to times one of these numbers here by 5. The other one would just be times by its, not be times by itself, sorry, but times by 1. So minus 1 here, we times that by 5. That would give me minus 5. Then for this number here, well, we just times that by 1 here, so that would just be 5. It won't change. And if we add these together here, we've already seen it over here. That would give us 0, so that's incorrect. So now, let's times the 5 here by 5. So -1 won't change. That stays as it is. And now for the 5 here, like we said, we times that by 5. That would give me 25 here. So now, if we add these two numbers together here, 25 plus -1 is the same as 25 minus 1. And that would give us 24 there. Perfect. So now, let's just make sure that we get the order the correct way here. We've got -1 and 25 here. So which number did we times by 5? Well, we times the 5 here by 5. That means the 5 here will go in this bracket, like so, and that's positive 5. So we do x plus 5 there. But for this -1 here, that's negative. That would be 5x minus 1 there. Okay, and there we have it. So that's the solution there to question 2. Moving on to question 3 now, we're asked to factorise 7x squared plus 31x plus 12. So to begin with here, let's just write down this quadratic. So we've got 7x squared plus 31x plus 12. So obviously when we factorise this here, we're going to get double brackets. So let's just write down our double brackets here, like so. So now at the front of one of these brackets here, we need a 7x. We need a 7x here. And at the front of the other bracket here, we need an x, like so. So now we need to think about the factors of 12 here. So we've got a few different options here. So to start with, I'm going to go 4 and 3 or 3 and 4. Let's do it as 3 and 4 here. We could also have 6 and 2. We could also have 1 and 12 or 12 and 1. But for now, let's just work with these two. Let's just see if we can find the correct pair to begin with. So if we start with 3 and 4 here, then in this case, one of these numbers here would be times by 7, this coefficient here. The other one would just be times by 1, this coefficient here. Let's just start here by timesing the 3 by 7. So 3 times 7, that would give us 21. And then 4 times by 1 would just give us 4. We get 21 and 4. And then when we add these numbers here together, 21 plus 4, that would give us 25. It's not 31, so this isn't the correct choice here. So now, let's take the 4 here and times that by 7. So the 3 would just be times by 1, so we just get 3 there. Now we take the 4 here and times that by 7, and that would give me 28. We get 28 there. So now, when we add these two numbers here together, 3 plus 28 gives me 31. Perfect. So we found the correct pair there. So now we just need to make sure that we get the order correct here. So what number did we times by 7? Well, that was the 4. That would go in this bracket here. Would be x plus 4. And then in this bracket here, it's the other factor, which would be positive 3. We get 7x plus 3 there. We times it by x plus 4. And there we have it. So that's the solution there to question 3. And finally then, if we take a look here at the very last question, question 4, we're asked to factorise 9x squared minus 21x plus 6. So let's just start here by writing down this quadratic. So we've got 9x squared minus 21x plus 6 here. When we factorise this quadratic here, we're going to get double brackets. So let's just place the double brackets here. What we also need here is the first term in each bracket. And normally what we do here is we just say 9x and x, for example, but we need to be slightly careful with this one. So let's just place the 9x and x here. But what we could also choose here is a 3x at the front of both of these brackets here. Because if I do 3x times 3x, we get 9x squared there. That would also work as well. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go with 9x and x to begin with. If we run through all the possible options and we can't find the correct pair, then what we need to do is try 3x and 3x. Okay. So what we do now is we find the factors of 6 here. So two numbers that will times together to give me positive 6. But we need to be slightly careful here because what I notice is the middle term here, so the coefficient of this middle term is negative. It's minus 21. So if I pick 2 and 3 here, for example, because 2 times 3 would give me positive 6 there. It works for multiplication, but no matter which of these two numbers here I times by 9, whenever I add those together, it would always be positive. Okay, So we can never get minus 21 there. So we know straight away it won't be these two factors here. Okay. So in that case then, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pick minus 2 and minus 3. Okay. Let's go with minus 2 and minus 3, because minus 2 times minus 3 gives me positive 6. And then we could also end up with the minus 21 here. Okay. But in this case, now what we're doing here is we're timesing one of these numbers by 9, this coefficient here. So let's start with the minus 2 then. If I times that by 9, that will give me minus 18. That's minus 18. Then we've got minus 3 here. We're timesing that by 1x. So just the 1 here, minus 3 times 1 just gives us the minus 3. So that doesn't change. So now if we add these two numbers here together, well, minus 18 plus minus 3, that gives us minus 21. Perfect, we've got the correct choice there. So now we just need to choose the correct order here for our factors inside the brackets. So which number here did we times by 9? Well, that was the minus 2. That goes inside the opposite bracket here. So x minus 2. Now the minus 3 here goes inside this bracket here. Okay. So there we have it. That's our solution there. We've got 9x minus 3 times x minus 2 there. Okay. That's the solution there to question 4. And that brings the end of this video on factorising trickier quadratics.